All right, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday night. A couple more sleeps left before the inaugural Jones Beach 70.3. Just want to touch base. Been talking to a few people, veterans, newcomers to the sport, to the distance, and I just want to throw some things out there, some thoughts. I've really been trying to think about this for the last day or so. I meant to post something yesterday, but I just didn't have my thoughts together yet. Things are so, evolving and crazy right now. But going into race day, you're all, I know there's some anxiousness and nervousness building, but, at this point, the weather, it is what it is. I hate saying that term, but it really fits for this one. Uh, we'll know more in the next 24 to 36 hours, really what the forecast is really going to lock in at. But I definitely want to think, if you're worried about safety, I definitely think, staff, Ironman, everybody, they understand what's going on here. They understand this is a big race. And I have no doubt they're going to make whatever calls, if there's any need to be decided on race morning for the safety of everybody, whatever that may be. We're definitely going to be racing, though, that's for sure. But again, it is what it is right now. Let's control the controllables, though. You can settle down some of the anxiousness and the nervousness for race day, which is completely normal. This will be my 10th 70.3 race, and I still get anxious and nervous up to the week because you put so much work, time, effort, and sacrifice into getting to this week, this day, that, yeah, you should have a little anxiousness and nervousness. But what can we control? We can control getting a couple good nights sleep still. We can control fueling that day. I mean, it's going to be, when the weather turns, people's brains kind of go into this fight or flight mode, and we start forgetting the things and the habits that we do every time we train, such as fueling and really, having the right strategy for race day. Everything you've done during training, we just need to just remember what you did and follow that in on race day. And we can control our mindset. And that's something I want to touch on real quick right here. And as being a coach as well, I feel like that they don't really go into that much. They can show you and teach you, the proper way to set up training plans and work with athletes and get them to race day. But they never really told you about, the mindset that you really have to work with some athletes and really help them get over that mental barrier that they may have, because there is some mental aspect to endurance sports that is huge in the success of athletes. So anything that I can pass along mindset wise is, and helping them overcome some of the feelings that you're having is something that I kind of strive myself to be, try and go a little bit more above and beyond with. So again, we're going to have adversity, right? We're going to go through some hard things. It's race day. You can do that any race day, no matter what your distance is, whether you're pushing for a 5K PR, first Ironman, first 70.3, whatever it is, 10th, 20th, 30th race, whatever. There's always going to be a little bit of adversity there because it's a hard day. If you're training weeks and months to get to this day to feel prepared for it, we're going to do hard things that day on race day. And unfortunately now you're going to have some more, curveballs thrown at you. But one of the quotes I like is, adversity weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. And what that means is, yes, there's going to be some adversity. We can handle that. We put ourselves into these situations through training for this day to have some exposure to it. But if you pull the plug a little too prematurely, you're going to live with that decision for a long time. And regret is a big thing that's just going to kind of haunt you down the road. So you put in the work, you've got to this point. Let's go out there. Sometimes you just got to shift. You got to shift your mindset. You got to shift your goals for the day. You got to shift the focus of what that is. You could have been banking on this race to be a qualifying race for your next endeavor, to try and get, qualify for a race. Sometimes you just got to, let it be what it is and just survive the day. And one of the things that I'm trying to come up with like a mantra here for the day and the totality of everything. I like to say recently, when things are going on, this too shall pass. But that's me just like, for me, kind of like, take that for a different type of meaning here. That yes, this too shall pass, but it's going to make me stronger in the process. And that, remember that, like, what we go through and what we put ourselves into is, you don't have to show up on race day. You could stay home, but again, that regret is going to weigh heavy. It's going to weigh, tonnage on you. And you know, this too shall pass. This as long as, remember when this race was introduced, like, wow, months and months to go, and then now it's here, and before you know it, it will be gone. So enjoy every minute out there. And then another mantra, which I think I'm going to use this week, is especially when I'm out there, right? We're going to be out there. It's going to be hard. You know, it could get a little crazy out there, you know, and you may be, you know, just second guessing yourself, like, man, why am I doing this? And just remember, though, you can bend through adversity. You can bend, but don't break. So just remember that. Think about that. Like, I'm okay. I can bend, but I will not be broken. Remember that. And that's going to help me throughout the day. That helps me when times get tough. And I'm a little different with myself, is with the type of career and job I have. You know, when I'm called upon and I'm asked to do something, it's usually because whoever's trying to handle the situation can't handle that situation themselves. They need extra resources. They need extra, you know, they need backup. They need whatever's going on to be taken care of, to help somebody, whatever it is. And we don't have the option where I work to really call anybody else. It's just us, and we have to solve the problem. We have to take care of what's in front of us. There is no failure. The failure is not coming home, or somebody not coming home, or somebody getting hurt. So being able to put yourself into adverse situations, you know, willingly, is going to pay dividends on the other half of when hard things are thrown at you, when you didn't want hard things, when you have to make these decisions and choices. Because you can look back on all these things you've done and all these days and races and training and everything like that, and realize, like, yeah, man, I did that. I did that first race. And it was nasty out, but I finished it. I did it. I committed to a plan. I did said plan, and I finished that race, and damn well that changed me. So remember that out there. You know, you can be bent but not broken on race day. Just don't break. Breaking, that's it. You're done. So remember, we can bend out there. Don't break. Remember, you've done the work. And something I guess they don't tell people when they get into endurance sports is you're going to train for this big goal, whatever that goal may be. Just take, for instance, this race, right? It's the first time some people are doing this race. Adversity, it happens. And that's why you go through so much training and preparation and leading up to it, and not leaving it to chance for this day. You have done the work. You have done the swims. You have done the bikes. You have done the runs. We have done everything we needed to do to get to this point. So let's control what we can control and lead into this day. Now, let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about weather. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about some tips, tricks, gears, whatever. Let's go through the day now. That's it. We know it's going to rain. We know it's going to be windy. Guess what? If you've biked down near this course on the South Shore, you know, like we all like to do, or down Ocean Parkway, you've had windy days. There's been days out there where people, when they're done, they're just wiped. They're like, I can't believe, I'm glad to be off the bike for the day. It was crazy out there. So yes, you've biked through it. If you know, people I've trained with, we've ran in the rain. This is why we do that, because those mornings when it was raining and you had to get up to go do your long run, you showed up and you did it because there is no other option. When you do it on those days, it becomes easier on race day. And thinking back to, like, trying to remember, I'm like, yeah, it rained on my first half marathon. It poured. It rained on my first full marathon. It poured. I actually remember the stanchions on the side of the road blowing down, the metal stanchions across the roadway at the Suffolk Marathon. My first 70.3, Atlantic City. It poured the entire time on the bike. Last year, Chattanooga Relay, 160-mile bike course. We got blasted with some storm that came through in the mountain area over there, and that was actually the scariest time I've ever had on my bike, and I wanted nothing but to be off that course, but I still had an epic time out there on the bike overall. And believe it or not, through all those events, you know what you really get out of it? You get some pretty badass pictures of you know, doing hard things in the rain. So swim morning, let's talk about that. It's not going to be super cold out. It's going to be in the lower 60s. Again, we don't know what time exactly it's going to start raining, but you know what? Prepare for it to be raining the minute you get out of your car at transition. If it's not, cool, awesome, but be prepared. You know, tips and tricks for the swim. If you're someone who tends to get cold, you have your wetsuit on. You're going to be waiting for a while. If you want to put another shirt on or a hoodie, something after that you can ditch right before you get in the water because you think you're going to be cold standing around, do that. Prepare to bring some clothes that you can dispose of and shed down. You can always shed what you're wearing and get a little cooler. You know, it's very hard though once you're out there, you're performing or you're on the bike and you're cold to actually warm up because you don't have anything to put on. But if you prep ahead of time and you have a jacket or whatever it is, you can take it off and do what you have to do with it. So the morning, it's gonna be wet, it's gonna be nasty. The floor where we're standing is probably gonna be, bring a pair of some disposable sandals that you can stand around in maybe before the swim start. Ditch them because if you have to go to the porta potty in and out, it might be a little muddy over there. Swam tonight, wasn't bad. Watch setter was around 70. We'll see how that correlates to what their temperature is when they measure in the next day or two. But it definitely chilled off this week. I was a sleeveless suit, felt fine. Some people, if you're a little colder, you might have to go with that long sleeve suit, whatever it is. Coming out, now you're going to be getting on the bike. People like to cover stuff up on the bike the night before, the seats, this, that, and the other thing. Honestly, it's not projected to be pouring overnight for Friday night, so I don't think you have to worry about any of that. Don't worry about covering your seat. You're going to get wet. It's going to get wet. The seat's going to get wet. You're going to be wet coming out of the swim. I don't know why you would want to cover your seat. Electronics on the bikes, they're meant to get wet. I've been through many races, knock on wood. They haven't malfunctioned. They haven't done anything. They're meant to get wet. So, and again, it should be raining as the race starts in the morning, so it's not going to be an overnight. The only thing I may say is for your run stuff, if you want, maybe like a clear bag or a big gallon bag, whatever you have, an old race bag, clear bag, put your stuff in there, lay your shoes in there, put whatever you need. If you want a fresh pair of socks in there, lay everything in there and kind of fold it down so at least it's kind of dry when you get to it. But chances are when you get to the run transition, it's going to be pouring and wet anyway, and it's going to be soaking wet. But it may prevent you from having that inch of rain in your shoes, and it is what it is at that point. If you wear socks during training, you've worn socks on rainy runs, wear socks on race day. Don't think, I'm going to screw it, I'm not wearing socks. Sometimes when it's wet, having that barrier of fabric between you and your shoe, ask the person that raced in Atlantic City last week, may prevent you from destroying your feet with a lot of blisters and everything like that. If you want to change socks between the bike and the run, if it takes another minute or two, so be it. Everybody out there, for the most part, a lot of people are going to be changing their goals and their strategy as we go through with this. And, you may have had a pace plan and you did all this training and we think you're going to do a certain time. Honestly, if this is your first one, throw it out the window. Just enjoy each discipline as it comes. Swim, worry about the swim. Bike, worry about the bike. Run, worry about the run. And really getting off that bike safe is the biggest thing for the day, because as long as you can rack that bike, get on the run, man, it can rain all it wants, but one foot in front of the other, we'll get that half marathon done. Other thing, oh my God, the Facebook group for Jones Beach 70.3, I just stay off of it. If there's anything you need, ask here. We can answer it for you. They're just getting crazy in that group, back and forth. The questions I see, it's going to drive you crazy. Just people just rearranging everything they've done for the last 3 or 4 months for a little bit of rain and a little bit of wind. What should I change? Should I do this? Should I do this? I heard I should do this. What do you do for this? What have you done in the past 3 or 4 months or longer before this day? Just keep doing what you've been doing. Use the same tire pressure. Use the same nutrition. You've done this before. Do not reinvent the book now. The work is done. It's just going to be windy and rainy. Let's get through it. And again, so new strategy, run your race. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about anything else. I bet you will have a great day if you just try and enjoy it. Because it's going to be a little tougher mentally than it probably would have been. Let's worry about the swim. Focus on the swim. Get through the swim. Get out of it. Take a deep breath. Make sure you do everything you need to do before you get on your bike. Get out on the bike. Yes, it's going to be 56 miles. It's a 2-loop course. Mentally, in your head, it's about 14 miles up, 14 miles back, twice, 2 loops. Break it into 4 sections. 14 miles, 4 times. 14 going north, 14 going south. You're doing it again. Break that into those sections. You can break your fueling down into those 4 sections to make sure you're staying up on it. Because one thing I do notice personally myself and for others is when it tends to be a little crappy out with the weather and cooler, we stop. We forget, like the fueling goes out the window. We're just white knuckled, trying to hold on. Just your brain's going a mile a minute and you forget to drink, you forget to do anything, and you forget to fuel. And then that leads to a tough run. So break that into 4 sections, get to transition, do what you got to do on the run. Whatever you have to do, whatever you need to put on, You know, temperature wise, everybody's a little bit different. It's a tough call to make. Grab what you need, get out on the run, and just keep one foot in front of the other. It's going to be, again, you can break it down into 4 sections. Basically, you can have almost like 4 5Ks. It's going to be, you know, 3 and change out, 3 and change back. You're going to do it again, and you'll be at the finish line. But I can assure you, when you finish this race, through the conditions that we may have, and you cross that finish line, it will make it that much sweeter. It will make it that much more of this accomplishment that you have done. The work is done. Enjoy the journey, yes. But being able to put it all together on a day like this, with all the people that we know, all the locals and the sides and enormity of this event, trust me, this is going to be something that you'll remember for quite some time. So that's basically all I got for tonight. Again, good night's sleep tonight, good night's sleep tomorrow. I'll see you guys all at the expo. I plan on doing a quick little swim in Zaxby's Bay Friday after I drop the bike off. Definitely I'll be on here tomorrow for at least another video on any other thoughts or anything that comes up like that, or any questions that you guys are asking me that I feel I can answer them to the group to maybe solve some questions. So everybody get some sleep, enjoy, take a deep breath again. And remember, we can be bent, but we will never be broken. Have a good night.